Since Peter Boucher was brought in to take over as Milford High School athletic director last winter, he has been hard at work coming up with new and innovative ways of enhancing the school's athletic department and raising the bar for all of the student athletes. At the end of last week, Mr. Boucher saw one of his biggest ideas come to fruition as the athletic department hosted a two-day event geared toward training the captains of Milford's sports teams to be better leaders. Here is a look back at that event. The Milford High School Athletic Department recently completed a first-of-its-kind leadership academy designed for the captains of Milford's sports teams. The program was initially conceived by Athletic Director Peter Boucher, who recognized there was a distinct lack of leadership training for athletes at the high school level.
This is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. I've spent my entire life in athletics since age 6. And, you know, honestly, Jonathan and I, with Jonathan Raskow, our trainer, Joe Todd, our head football coach, were talking. I came on board December 1st, and this was something that we just kind of started talking about it. We were watching a basketball game, and, you know, we all just said, hey, we were captains in high school, we were captains in college. Who had any training? You know, how would a captain know to do this or do that? And we just kind of said all we really knew was to make sure you lead warm-ups and keep everybody in line. What does that mean? And then we started looking around. What trainings are there? What's out there to really help the kids? And we looked and we didn't find anything. So, you know, we're all type A personalities, and if it's not there, we're going to build it and we're going to climb it. We're going to get ahead of it. So we just said, hey, let's make this happen.
The Captain's Academy encompassed roughly 10 hours over the span of 2 days, providing the students in attendance with valuable information in several key leadership areas.
We basically found that on our staff, we had an expert in just about every department or component we were looking for, and we had the community support that we needed to finance it and put things together. You know, Garth coming in with his company, Scott Salon buying the T-shirts, and it was a lot of work. It was well over 100 hours of planning and putting together, but you know what? For us, it really was a labor of love. I mean, you're doing what you're passionate about, leadership and communication and teamwork, things that are going to really, yeah, they're going to probably help us get a couple more W's, a couple more wins, but they're going to build better people, better leaders. And we started to say we're forging the future. So that's what we talked about with this academy. That was the theme.
Coach Boucher himself led off the two-day event with a presentation on what it means to be a leader, complete with several activities that put the students' leadership skills to the test.
If you think that kids are going to follow you just because you have the word captain before your name, I don't know how well that's going to go. All right, one of the things that I always talk about is you have two incredibly important skills, okay, that kids will follow. It's what you say and what you do, and that's it. What you say and what you do. And I will tell you that if what you do doesn't match with what you say, they will stop following you.
From there, it was field hockey head coach Emily Beau who used her considerable education and training to lead the students in a presentation on communication.
I'm going to say a statement to the person on the end, and they're going to say it all the way down the line. So this person's going to say it to this person. You guys have all played before, right? Okay. You're whispering. I don't want to hear it. And you can only say it once. How many times can you say it? Once. Both statements were way off. One team changed the name. One team went to the beach with pencils. That's like way off. So what does that tell us? This is a debrief. So what does that tell us about communication? Somebody said the right thing. We all started with the correct thing, the correct statement. But as it went, people misinterpreted it. And that happens with all of you. So if you're talking to your team, people are going to misinterpret you. So you have to be really clear. Okay? And you also have to make sure when rumors pop up that you're squashing them and you're identifying what's correct.
The final presentation of day one belonged to head football coach Joe Todd, who tackled the very difficult issue of conflict resolution.
I was glad that I had that topic. I did a little bit of self-reflection, even, back throughout my whole life, and really just thought about the topic, researched the topic, looked into it. And I really enjoyed putting together and talking about the chain of command, where the captains fall, the expectation that, conflict should be resolved at the lowest levels, and if it can't be resolved, it's got to, go up the chain of command. And, I think that'll give us some tremendous leverage so the coaches aren't dealing with as many problems, the captains aren't dealing with as many problems, and we've got a more structured environment.
Here are the competing goals. They're both fighting for different goals, and they realize this isn't working. Let's figure something out. All right, we'll do this, and then they both say, here we go. Let's see what we got. Recognize there's a conflict. Communicate. FIO. What's FIO mean? Figure it out. Think win-win. Everybody gets to eat. What's the lesson? Don't be a donkey. That's the lesson. All right? Don't be a donkey.
The second day of the Captain's Academy featured two more very important topics, with girls soccer head coach Jay Mastay leading a session on teamwork and middle school soccer coach Brian Edwards tackling the topic of social media awareness.
It doesn't matter whether it's in high school, college, individually in families. Teamwork is just one of those things that we all talk about, but it's amazing how often we get it wrong or not close or not close enough. I mean, it's very seldom you get that team that really kind of comes together. And as I mentioned in my presentation, I mean, companies spend thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get their teams to work together. It's no different. I think the best thing that happened here is introducing some of those skills earlier on so that they can then build on them. And so by the time they're actually into corporate America or wherever they decide to take their careers, there's a foundation built and they can start at some place that I wish I had, a long time ago when I was a captain.
Raise your hand if you spend at least 3 hours a day, you'd estimate 3 hours a day looking at your phone, looking at some sort of social media page. This includes text messages. Wow, 3 hours, okay. Put your hands down. When they asked me what I wanted to talk about, I immediately saw social media and I wanted to jump on it because social media it's not really that old, it's new, it's young. And if it was around when I was in your age, when I was sitting in those chairs, I would have been screwed. I would have gotten myself in a lot of trouble because I have a very bad temper. I used to, not so bad anymore. But if I had that when I was a teenager, I would have been in big trouble. Because when you make bad decisions, back then it wasn't as visible. Now when you make bad decisions, it's all out there.
The coaching staff brought all of the captains into the gymnasium to close out the two-day event with a strong message on school pride that was delivered by recently appointed girls basketball head coach TJ Dolliver.
Do you want to be the teammate that has 30 points or 3 touchdowns or a grand slam or all of this but lost the game? Or would you rather be the player that has 0 points, goes 0 for 4, throws 3 picks, but wins the game? Which player would you rather be? The second one, okay? It's all about the team.
Once things wrapped up, I asked a group of the captains as well as the athletic staff to give their reaction to the two-day leadership academy.
I could probably speak for everybody and say that when we found out we had a 2-day council for 5 hours at the end of summer, it wasn't like the first thing on our list that we wanted to do. But even like the coaches said that you could either be a tourist, does anyone else remember, a prisoner, or an explorer. And I think by the end, coming in, everyone probably started off at like the tourist, a prisoner place, but everyone probably ended up being explorers.
I think we all bonded as a captainship of Milford, so now all of us are all on the same page with where we want to go in Milford as an entire sports group.
After today, it's just like it's a whole different level that I just couldn't see happening, but now I know a bunch of skills that I can apply to this season that could potentially cause a successful season.
There's a lot of things like conflict resolution, stuff like that, things like in the locker room that we can take care of, things like that we know how to handle ourselves and they don't have to go into bigger issues. We know how to really bring the team together because football, of all sports, we need everybody's cooperation and everybody going together. And the things we learned here, we can pull the whole team together and know that we're going for the same goal, the same mission, and we know how to get there in the most efficient way possible.
I thought it was really awesome that the coaches put this together. It definitely helps all of us captains because going in, what your job is to lead the team and be a role model, but they gave you small little things, little ways like body language, how to communicate, different things that you can use to help manage your team, and I think it's really important.
I think we all felt like we all went above and beyond what we expected of each other. And, every single one of these, I learned something. I know that the kids learned something. We all learned something about our own modules. It was great.
The engagement, I think everybody, as Coach kind of talked about, we kind of had a lot of, prisoners who were here because, they got forced to be here. And I think by the time that everybody left, everybody at least had moved up to either tourist or, an explorer role, and they were interested and engaged. And I think the more it went on, culminating with TJ's presentation, I think everybody kind of really got a lot out of it, and I hope they'll reflect and at some point in time they'll again look back and say, wow, this was really cool.
I'm ecstatic over the way that we presented. I really feel good about this crew and what we were able to bring to the kids. And their feedback says the same thing. They had a good time. I think they were very honest, saying, they came in here Thursday morning thinking, I hope this doesn't stink. And they left here, I hope you get to see the footage Friday afternoon. They're cheering and setting records, and just they want to play tomorrow. They want to start tomorrow, and that's an awesome place to be. So we feel good.
Bring it up, let's go.
Nice.
Hey everybody, this is Tim Coet. Make sure you check out full episodes of The Milford Informer on Milford TV. New episodes air every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. and then re-air frequently over the course of the weekend. Milford TV can be found on Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon Channel 38. And if you live in the Milford area and have an idea for a news story, you can contact us at news@milfordtv.net.